Hello, friends. So, a fun story that's also quite sad, but I think I know the reason for it. Um, I recorded Halo Wars 2 fully through. No break, no nothing really in there's no like different episodes or nothing like that. It was all just uh, a single long episode. It was like 4 hours long, actually, and this one will probably be, you know, roughly the same uh, length. It'll probably be a little shorter because now I know what I'm doing a tad bit. So um, there will be a few things we're not gonna have to worry about, thankfully. But the reason I think I know why it did it in the first place. So what ended up happening, I realized I should tell you what happened before I can explain how I know it happened. Was that it was all zoomed in on the game. More so, it was just like cut off like this much worth. I think like just cornerstone kind of thing. Um, and it caused it to look super off, and I was half debating still posting it, but I didn't like it very much. I didn't like it being off-centered. I didn't like it being presented funny, especially in a case like this where I technically did it for AoE 2 by the end, where I did the long video that just finished it off. Um, but this is the first time I'm ever doing it with a full game, like with beginning to end. You're going to get the entire game worth of Halo Wars 2 in a faction focused style in a single video. That way, you guys, I'll have timestamps for everything. I'll put in the description as well. And for this one, I'll definitely be doing proper stuff for it because it's such a much bigger time constraint. But um, please do don't watch this like all the way through in one sitting if you don't want to. Uh, it's definitely gonna be something that if you want to like check out a specific faction, just skip to that point. Every single faction will be timestamp, so you could just skip there and then skip through it and find what you need and everything. Um, I didn't explain though what I think happened. So pretty much on OBS, you got the boxes that fill up the screen. The webcam's its own tiny box, and then the game fits whether above or behind it. It's of course usually behind it, so you can actually see the webcam. But you can also off-center them, or you can move them around and set them in different places. So in theory, I could have 15 different versions of video games happening at the same time in theory on this. Granted, no one would do that because it would look so chaotic, but um, I think it just got off-centered. I think it got pushed outside the box that's recording, and so that's where it kind of went awry. So, um, but that's pretty much settled at this point. So without us having to go through that anymore, um, scooch me a little bit this way. There we go. Just so I'm not like not displaying, but like not off centered or nothing. Hold on. There we go. There, perfect. Good enough. So we'll be beginning. You guys have already seen that there's Captain Cutter on top, or is already posted. I'm just gonna take him down, and that way I don't have any duplicate things or anything like that. And we're gonna be going through this much quicker. There are two factions that, of course, will be very long standing. It's gonna be just me showing off the designs and everything. I did try to do uh, I did try to do like a grading system almost for it for each item in the game, but I kept forgetting and it's hard for me to keep it up, so I'll think about it and see if I really want to do it. But for now, let's go in. I'm going to keep these normal, so what I did instead is I gave myself like pretty much max starting supply to help demonstrate things much quicker. Player defeat loss, that's Doesn't matter for this because I just kind of exit out when needed. Gameplay options. Can I put it down to like 50% just in case I want to show them off a bit more often? And that's it. I did go over the skulls a little bit. Most of them are pretty interesting. There's these two, which I wish I had. But I don't know how to get them. I assume they're like the regular Halo, where you have to go through the missions and find them. But that's fine. So that's pretty much it. We're gonna go back. Actually, where is that? Where it is? In here. I do have to change around AIs and such. So I did make it so Captain Cutter will be the little, kind of the training dummy for these videos. And unfortunately, I wish there was other colors than blue and red, to be honest. I kind of wish you could have more than just like 2 teams, but unfortunately, I don't think you can in this game. So that'll be it. I'll go over the different. I'll switch through maps probably every 2, just to kind of help display the different maps the game has. Well, we're starting up. There's 19 tech. Okay, there's not 19. There's I think like 16, because 3 of these options are these, like the randoms and everything like that. So there's really just 16 factions in this game, which 10 more than last game. I give it to them. They really bumped it up. But they definitely don't feel super different. There is only 2 types of bases in this game. And so that's why 2 of them take a lot longer, is because I'm going over how the base looks, and afterwards I don't really need to worry about the bases. So I'll just display what those individual factions have for their leaders and such. So I'll go through them right now, though. First off is Captain Cutter. As Captain of the Spirit of Fire, Cutter can send powerful orbital support, drop specialized UNSC units, and enhance currently deployed units. Next up is an AI named Isabel. She improves the effectiveness of vehicles using her database and the latest in UNSC tech, and employs hacking and distraction powers in battle. Next up, we have Professor Anders. She was also in the last game, so Cutter and Anders were in the last game. Anders' scientific expertise allows her to field Sentinel units and makes all her upgrades cheaper and faster. Atriox focuses on cunning and defensive style support by advanced economy and the power to make units temporarily invulnerable. Decimus is a berserker who relies on hard-hitting rushes and unique powers to siphon his enemy's health when attacking. Next up is the Shipmaster. The Shipmaster favors stealth and cloaking powers, teleportation tactics, and rapid assault against his foes. Next up, he's one of the free... I think he's honestly, the only free one other than the main 6. Sergeant Forge, he was in the last game. Forge's strength lies in armored aggression and slow building economy, using heavy vehicles to push through enemies. Next up would be Kinsano. She is all about the burn, launching pyrotechnic attacks and covering the battlefield in flame. One of the more interesting factions is the Colony, a Colonia Lagolo with a focus on tough frontline units and healing. It feels like I've been talking about this so much recently. That's just because I've been looking through this game, and then I just made that 4-hour video, so I was going through them nonetheless. But I'll go over it again. The Lagolo are worms, and if you know about hunters, those are who the hunters are. They are Lagolos. Just a big cluster of worms taking up armor. And in fact, if you look at, people probably didn't know it based on the original game, Halo 1, like back in 2001. They didn't have the processing power to make them look quite perfect or anything. But if you look at them nowadays, you can see all the worms like kind of peering, like clustered together. But they are very interesting. The only unfortunate thing about remaking this video so far is I know everything in it. I've seen everything, at least, which means I don't have any kind of surprises. I did have very genuine reactions to some of the units and some of the things you could do. And now, unfortunately, they're not going to be quite so authentic because I already have seen them. But I still, of course, want you guys to see this, and I am willing to go through a bit more for you guys to hopefully get you all of these videos and such. Next up is Sergeant Johnson, very iconic to Halo. Sergeant Major Avery Johnson, a hero of the Covenant War. Geared up for battle, he's a dangerous adversary due to his powerful mechs and solid command. The Arbiter, now this is the Halo Wars Arbiter, not the Halo FPS Arbiter. You know by his teeth mainly. And, he has a different voice, but I think David just probably isn't gonna necessarily give his voice to something that isn't one of the mainstay titles, I believe at least. The Arbiter, Rip More of Me, utilizes special stasis fields to trap enemies and control the battlefield. Commander Jerome, a mega team's leader and a veteran Spartan of the Spirit of Fire. Jerome inspires and bolsters troops under his command. Serena, smart AI tech that ran the Spirit of Fire systems before being lost with all hands. Still don't know what that means. Serena was an expert in cryo technology. One of my all-time favorites so far is Yap Yap the Destroyer. At last, a grunt rises through become a mighty leader, or at least outnumber the enemy with an endless supply of cheap, expendable units. I love Yap Yap. I love the grunts. They're so fun. Voridus focuses on aggression, rush tactics, and uses unique infantry or incendiary gel weapons to create damaging pools of toxic liquid. And lastly, Pavium. Pavium's epithet of the unbreakable comes from his mastery of defensive and economic tactics. So, 16, we'll be going through them right now. Of course, start off from left to right. We'll start with Captain Cutter. And this will be kind of one of the longer segments you see. This is usually roughly about, I want to say, actually not as much. I think I didn't do the whole high starting currency thing. So this may be a little quicker based on that alone. So starting off, we have our base of operations. Something to know about these games, if you haven't seen the first episode for Captain Cutter or the original Halo Wars at that, is that they have structured base settlements, so you just have these slots that fill up. It's fun. It makes it very quick feeling, but I honestly, of course, always prefer what's it called?
Supply pad constructed.
Hush, Captain Cutter. I always prefer the freeform base building, as you've seen in Command & Conquer. Like, that's my favorite type. It just feels so much more tactical for one in general. But so we'll be going through. I did, of course, like I said, have that rating system in place.
Constructed.
We'll see how much I keep up with it. First, we're going to build the base up properly, and then I'll be displaying all his personal units and the upgrades those units tend to have. But first off, other than the main base, is his 2 economic buildings for any of the UNSCs or any of the human-based factions in this, or commanders, I should say. Their main base looks pretty good, actually. I gotta admit. Kind of has this really definitely quicker industrial look to it. Don't listen to them, they're gonna talk a lot. They keep that good old-fashioned Halo dialogue in this game, but man, does it kind of get buggy when you're trying to talk and they're talking above you almost. The 2 types of economic buildings you can build in this game are your supply pads and generators. Supply pads are kind of your base currency in this game, while your energy is kind of your almost technical currency. It's for more high-end units and upgrades. So these 2 have 1 upgrade to each of them, becoming the heavy supply pad and the advanced generator. I will also be demonstrating, of course, any of the defensive structures and everything. Now, unfortunately, I can't stop the AI from interacting with me. So right after
Supply
this,
pad upgrade
I will be
complete.
building up the defenses and such. The heavy supply pad, and just now is the also advanced generator.
Generator upgrade
There we
complete.
go. The heavy supply pad instead I keep saying supply and it always feels weird. The heavy supply pad has two fronts now, the two heavy cranes allowing drop into both sides. Just pretty much doubles the amount of income you would get from it. I've spoken about this before. I'll also talk about it later when you show off the not the marine, the kind of Covenant-esque non-human side of things. But these happen to be some of my favorite design bases for energy-based things. These big rotary turbines and everything look so cool to me. This one's a little boring, but at least it does kind of give a feel of they're actually doing something. I do give that to this compared to Command & Conquer, which it didn't feel like a lot of the buildings actually perform certain functions. But these two definitely give me some really good vibes. So far, these three structures, I haven't given any scores, pretty much. I did out of 10 last time, but it really just got repetitive, because a lot of things ended up being a 6 to an 8. Some things were 10s. So it's not a very viable rating system, I think. So if I can remember to do it, I'm going to be doing it out of 100. That way you get a much proper scale to things. So this one, I want to say 65. It's better than usual, but it's nothing unique or special, I think. This guy is definitely maybe a 45. Doesn't really do anything. He's fun to look at, but he doesn't do anything special. These guys get like an 80. I love the turbines. I love turbines so much. They're so cool. I will be, of course, building up our turrets. You get 4 slots for turrets. I like to put these 2 in the front here, and then you'll have a couple other turrets, including a watchtower in the back. I will also be giving a small upgrade. That way we could have all of our tech stuff going on. I will be displaying the 3 types of turrets. Oh, so here's our first iteration of an enemy.
Turret constructed.
There we go. So here's our basic turret here, and what I definitely mean basic. This one score wise, I want to say is like a 40. Not very much, nothing super unique. Just the 2-pronged turrets. Nothing super cool. The upgrade does give some walls, which I love. I love defensive looking upgrades. Our other one's about to be built, so instead we're gonna put this one up to the anti-infantry, and then this one will be built into an anti-vehicle turret. Also, the first upgrade to the entire base gives you your last 2 slots. This is a fully slotted out base. There is one more upgrade though that I'll be grabbing really quick. That way I can make sure I get everything. Watchtowers, what they do is they just, of course, give you a normal radial increase to the vision around the base, at least. This one probably gets a 45. Not terrible. You tried a different way, it didn't work. But pretty good. Little radar antenna, nothing too crazy. Here's the anti-vehicle turret. It's a little better, by all means, than the infantry turret, because the infantry turret just gives an additional 2 guns. Pretty cool. Instead of a 45 or a 40, I'd say this one's probably a 55 or 60. Probably a 55. This one's probably a 70. Pretty good looking. I like the blue. The blue and the red works really well. I keep feeling like there's upgrades to the base, but there really isn't much to this. Our final turret is finally a bigger siege turret. These guys launch way out further on. And that way you can kind of have it also lightly affects being a sensor kind of thing in a way, because they'll fire even before, like, they'll fire almost out to this range. Meaning you get a bit of a initial head start to seeing what they are and everything. This guy's pretty cool. I'll show you once he's fully built. He's pretty close already when they place him down like that. I will have to start building units though, unfortunately, because I don't want to lose my base by any means before you guys can see anything. But he's pretty much done being built. Very large. I would say a 75. Any of these huge cannon turrets are always so cool, and they always have that oomph behind them that makes them feel like a large siege turret. So yeah, definitely a 75. I'll start up on our infantry then. This is our barracks right here. But before then, we're gonna start. We're gonna have it built up and everything, but we're gonna start on these guys first, actually, and our home base, as we have two core kind of units that always come with the with your base, nonetheless. The first upgrade, your standard Marines, by the way. I think I can actually zoom in on them a tad bit to give you a little better look at them. They look a lot like the regular Halo Marines, pretty good. A 50. There's absolutely nothing special about these guys. They do have some pretty interesting upgrades over time that we'll be seeing, though. Also, here's a barracks. I know I'm a little bit everywhere, but here's a barracks.
Grenade throw researched.
Very nice. Oh, our turret has spotted something. In fact, a very unfortunate thing to
Leader
spot
point earned.
is our
base is
big
under
boy
attack.
here. So that is an enemy Spartan. Yes, I know. Hopefully I'll be able to kind of... Yeah, be managed. I'll give him that. I'll tell you now, Easy AI, they struggle with the powers that you have, which I'll be showing off later. Please hurry up, please. Donk. There we go. This should be a little quicker now. Where's he going? Where are you going? Why are you garrisoning? That won't save you, Commander.
We've killed an enemy
There we
Spartan.
go. Unfortunate. I'll bring out the boys again. They're pretty fast anyway, only like 15 seconds pretty much. But as you see, the siege turret definitely helps a lot. Unfortunately, our defenses definitely took a little bit of a beating. God, I wish you guys... These games gave you just like a little... non-combative mode. I talk about this every day, or every time I think about games, that they should just have like a kind of tourist mode, and I want it so bad. We'll be bringing out our two set of Marines again. The poor guys got lost in battle. It's the same ones, I swear. Their next upgrade, so the little grenade throw allows them to toss grenades. They do need a target to toss the grenade, but I'll show you that a little bit later. But their other upgrade allows them to add an engineer to the squad, which can repair vehicles, air units, and buildings. But those engineers are also equipped with a rocket launcher instead. That does take over the grenade slot, by the way. So the grenade tosses, it probably does less damage than the rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher also has a quicker fire rate, and also a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a higher damage than the grenade, of course.
Combat mechanics
There we go.
researched.
These are pretty much fully upgraded Marines at this point. You can send them over. They'll start repairing things, by the way, with that engineer.
We got our orders.
There
Let's
we go. Also, a quick tip for these guys. They do have a cooldown on their rocket. But for some reason, when they're garrisoned in things like these, it doesn't... They shoot like way quick. So if you could manage them out in the battlefield, always try to garrison them. I'll have them repair things. Our other unit that we get off the bat is a Jackrabbit. They are a scout vehicle. We did see them earlier with the enemy fighting us and everything like that. That way you can... Ooh. Perfect timing, actually. Ooh, already got these guys built up, but...
Our base is under attack.
Grenades. Use them all.
There we go, as you can see, properly built up. Poor Jackrabbit. Let's get him out of here. He's not going to be able to last against anything. They did drop power. The AI really likes this power. They like dropping anything that can drop units on them, which makes a lot of sense. So, also these guys can't attack nearly as far, so they're kind of doomed in that garrison tower a little bit.
I need an urgent tune-up, Skipper.
Bringing back the Jackrabbit. Poor boy's on fire right now. In fact, I don't know how his vehicle's lasting. I think it's huge, by the way. He looks all tiny in there. Jackrabbit, I give roughly like a 65. They're pretty interesting.
Sound off, Marines.
We're gonna have him heal him up and everything. They're really not designed
Got a
to
scouting assignment
be
for
really not designed to be actually combative units. They're very fast moving in light armor. They're okay against infantry and vehicles, but definitely not very good against air and structures. While your basic Marines here, if you have a lot of them, they're pretty okay against everything. I need to remember that you can see what they're kind of good at. His only upgrade I believe he has is the support drone. He adds to scout drone, which drone heals the Jackrabbit, attacks enemies, increases line of sight, and can detect cloaked units. It gives it a pretty okay upgrade, all things considered, and everything like
Stand
that.
to, troops.
We're gonna let these guys heal everything up. I realize you don't really need to wait for these buildings. I should just have them built already. There we go.
Upgrade research.
There you go, here's your little drone. The drones actually look very cool. I'll give it that. The drone itself is probably a 75, while he's a 60. Or 75, I think 70. I can't remember what I said for him earlier. It's kind of why the rating system doesn't work a ton for me.
Armory
But I want to
constructed.
kind of give some kind of genuine feedback on things. We don't really need the sensor, so I'm going to actually scrap the sensor real quick so you could see the last tower. All it would do is take this away. This guy sees pretty far out right now. But these are your 2 core units. Those are the upgrades these 2 exist with. Bringing back them.
Leader point earned.
Leader points. I'll be going over those a little bit later. If there's any
Our base
passive
is under
upgrades,
attack.
I'm not going to be getting them. So, because I'd rather you guys see kind of permanent upgrades and everything like that.
My targets.
There is a
Turret
unit I'll be
constructed.
presenting, and it's exactly the one we're fighting right now. His name is Jerome. He's a Spartan. Jackrabbit did pretty well here, actually. He's the one you've been seeing popping up, but that is a basic, non-upgraded
Airpad constructed.
hero. So each one has their hero. It's kind of their only unique unit that's like super unique to them. Sometimes you'll have other technically unique units, but nothing crazy. Ooh, we managed it. So we'll be bringing Jerome out, and then we'll be also presenting you with his upgrades, because the reason I want him out next is he can kind of manage everything himself. He doesn't really need
Spartan, on point.
a ton of extra help or anything. So by himself, he does pretty well.
Suit it up.
Here's Jerome. He's a ranged hero and has a ground pound AoE attack. They're usually not pretty crazy or anything like that. So their upgrades, on the other hand, tend to make him a tad bit better. At least not off the bat. He's really only particularly good against infantry, but okay against everything else. Well, get his upgrades. Hijack allows him to increases every upgrade that a hero has, increases health and damage. I'm not going to be going over those very much. The main ability it does add is the ability to hijack enemy vehicles and aircraft. It adds the ability to commandeer
Hijack researched.
friendly vehicles as well. So not only can you take enemy units, you can also take on your own. His next upgrade is a Spartan laser. It equips him with a Spartan laser rather than his dual handguns. I think those are dual handguns. Hold on. Let's look at them real close. Yeah, those look like the Magnums from Halo. So I think those are what they are. They're crazy in Halo 1, so it makes sense why the hero would get them. I will say now, they're not going to be a ton different, but each of the first 3 units see have
Spartan laser
Spartans
researched.
pretty much.
Looking forward to taking
You're going
on
to
the
see
enemy.
him. This does boost him up to being good against everything except bases. Bop. He loves dropping these guys, by the way, and I'll show you those guys later.
We're a
Because
vehicle down. Another one bites the dust.
there we go.
I'm getting hit by enemy
I feel like he's a
infantry.
little better against infantry pre-Spartan laser, to be honest, because he has like a faster attack rate. By the way, that's
Our
the AI
base
trying
is
to
under
heal.
attack.
They keep missing all the time. We'll get his last upgrade. This one doesn't do anything special for him. It just gives you that final increase. A lot of the other heroes do get a kind of unique thing, at least for a couple of them, more than he does. So we'll be seeing them later on, though. I'm gonna try to make this a little more fun for you guys too. I know I'm kind of trying to be like a standard review thing, but I do want to make these at least enjoyable to an extent. You've been seeing this unit down here. I'll be saving him for last since he's kind of considered an epic unit, and we'll begin bringing out
Neural implant researched.
our different other classes that we have. So first one off the bat, we have our Hellbringer. These are your standard anti-swarm almost, I want to say. They're a strong rush unit, cannot attack air, but they are good against people, like infantry, buildings, and very not good against vehicles, but as you know, they also can attack air. Their upgrades are the dispersion nozzles, increases damage, and flames deal damage over time, which allows them to kind of
Got
have a
full
lasting
tank,
effect.
and nozzles are hot.
Pretty interesting little flamethrower units. Interesting that they don't have. They have. Ooh, look at this one again. They have this one and this one. These are both particularly good against infantry. So I don't usually know why. Usually they'll have like an
Dispersion nozzles
anti-air,
researched.
but they don't. Dispersion nozzles are the only upgrade. I do believe it actually changes their physical look. I think it takes the yellow flame and turns them blue. But those are your standard kind of mainstay anti-infantry that you can build up properly. Next up are snipers. These guys are really good against any of the infantry. They're really solid. Can detect cloaked units themselves, have very long range and light armor. These guys are the perfect ones to usually stock up and put into garrisonable buildings to help with longer ranged attacks. He does get a little drone to himself. You're about to see Spartan v Spartan, but he does lock him up first.
Got a Spartan
We're gonna
army
put him in this
heading
tower
to
because that's kind of where he's designed to be most.
Our base is under attack.
There we go.
Over.
Took out the enemy Spartan. He also has a shield that comes back over time eventually, which he definitely did not take any kind of beating from the other Spartan. The upgrade that the sniper has next is the ability to temporarily cloak. Detection units can reveal cloak as well. So you got to remember that if you face anyone, like maybe even an opposing sniper, you still see him while he's cloaked no matter what. So we'll get that up. I think that's his only upgrade as well. I think most units have one upgrade. Some maybe have a few. It's usually the heroes that have 3. Otherwise, most of them don't have very many upgrades at all.
Upgrade research.
Oh, he does have a second one. That's what I forgot he did. He has a stanchion sniper system, which greatly increases damage and can slow targets as well when he shoots them, which is pretty solid. We'll be displaying him. He's just gonna hang out in there. His power just makes him kind of have like a
No problem.
little kind of light to him, just like his drone does, which I think his drone has cloaking on him. Usually a little outline depicts a cloaking.
Stanchion sniper
And
system
he's been
researched.
fully upgraded there. Our last unit that we can show off is the Cyclops. They're an anti-vehicle mech. These are your infantry that are... They're technically infantry, even though they're in a mech suit, which is kind of not infantry-like. They're your standard anti kind of vehicle kind of thing. They are pretty cool looking, though. I give that. Cyclops are really
Cyclops,
interesting.
ready to smash some vehicles.
There we go.
Ready to make some scrap. Boss.
Very cool.
Ready to
Strong
fight some
units, by the way, very tough, heavy armor, but cannot attack air. Of course, very good against vehicles and air, or vehicles and buildings, but not very good against infantry. Their first upgrade is shock rounds, which increases damage, and shots slow vehicles. So think of these two as the same unit, but one's for infantry, the other one is for vehicles. Because they tend to have the same upgrades, except I don't know if this guy has his secondary. He probably does have a secondary now that I think about it. Crystals. Sometimes there is some good to redoing these, by the way.
Shock
And
rounds
we'll be
researched.
explaining a little bit later why.
You sending a vehicle after me?
Bop.
Suckers! That's job satisfaction.
Man, look how
You
fast.
stopped an enemy Spartan.
Oh my god, he lived. Look at that hell, he's got almost pixel health. That's impressive. He does have just the one, though. But these are your infantry units. Technically, I would consider Jerome also an infantry since he's just like on the ground. You do have like vehicle heroes as well. But here's all your infantry units for Captain Cutter. Next up is our garage, so our base vehicle kind of vehicles for the game. I know the Warthog in Halo Wars 1 used to be your core vehicle, like your scout, and then you would upgrade it. It has now become your standard damaging vehicle, which are very good against infantry and okay versus everything else. You could very well have like an army of these guys and they would probably do pretty well.
Hog is humming and raring to go.
Pretty cool.
Moving out.
One of my favorite things is that they do
Rolling out.
make it look and
Excuse me,
feel
coming
kind of
through.
as slidey as
On the move.
the standard games for hogs are. That's pretty impressive. By the way, here's the buildings. I didn't even think to look at the buildings. I'm sorry. The 3 buildings. Oh, I didn't get this guy. Hold on. I'm throwing it off. God, everything's crazy right now. Here's the 3 buildings I didn't look at earlier. The armory is a high-ranking building to me. I think it looks super cool. I love the bulb kind of dome roof thing.
Heads up. Hostiles.
Very cool. Ooh, perfect time to be bringing out
Turret
the
upgraded.
Warthog.
Come on and meet my
You
grill.
can kind of see
Our Spartan's under fire. All in a day's work.
he's about to go. There's no way he's not. There you go. Oh my god, he lived. The garage, okay. It doesn't look crazy, and it does look a little better when it's building things, but it's not stupendous or anything like that. And your air pad looks nice as a building, but doesn't pertain to me in any way that's an air pad. I do also kind of wish that units would come out of these and come around instead of coming straight from the front, because then it feels like you could have done something better with these. And here's your air, by the way, your anti-air turret. It is a rocket launcher based one, which is pretty normal for anti-air vehicle, any kind of anti-air thing like that. Pretty good though. I like it. I do still like it no matter what. We'll be going over upgrades for a Warthog. The first one's adding a Gauss cannon to the. Anyone who's used a Gauss cannon in the main Halo games knows that the Gauss cannons are crazy. They're really kind of umphy, like you like it, like when you like really heavy things. Replaces machine gun with Gauss cannons, increases damage and range. It probably makes them good against vehicles rather than. They're still considered good against, I think, infantry though with this upgrade.
Gauss cannon
Yep,
researched.
as I thought. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. I do think slower, no matter what, the thing to being good against infantry is just speed half the time. But that's the only upgrade for them. We're going to have our other vehicles that we'll be displaying. These are all your standard you're going to see a lot of the time, so you're only going to be really seeing these guys for these this video, or this part of the video. And then for like the Covenant side, you'll be seeing it for the first part as well. But otherwise, most of the time, you'll just be seeing the unique that each one has.
Wolverine ready for orders.
Wolverine's pretty cool.
Systems
Once
calibrated.
again, a rocket on as your anti-air.
Wolverine on the way.
Not bad though. They can also attack ground. They're just not very good at it. So you'll see here in a
Kill
moment.
confirmed.
If I wanted them to, he can run up, start launching little kind of forward rockets out,
We've
but
taken
it's
down an enemy
it's
Spartan.
not really worth it. Well, the poor what's his name's gonna be taken out pretty soon. think we took out the Covenant? Oh, look, he rammed me. Very impressive. And pop, there we go. Like I said, these guys alone can really handle a lot of things by themselves, which is pretty impressive, unless there's like just a barrage. But the Wolverines are your anti-air that can detect cloaked units, which a lot of air can be cloaked, and mid-range missiles and light armor. So, okay, they're pretty okay, I'd say. Your Kodiaks, by the way, I didn't even relate to this last time. I think there's a GDI unit in one of the games called the Kodiak as well. I think it's their air, like their big air supremacy kind of unit. I didn't even think about doing faction focus for Tiberium Twilight, and now I'm kind of thinking about it just to do the opposite of a proper review and just be like, I hate this. Why couldn't you make this better? I'll think about it. I just thought about it, but it might be a little
Kodiak
fun.
reporting.
I will admit. Here's your artillery units. Anyone who knows me knows I love artillery.
Numbers crunched and cannon loaded.
Artilleries are way cool, and in themselves are defensive units, like defensive structures almost. Because since these guys can
have a target for me, sir?
Unpack like this,
Prepping for lockdown.
pop pop, become stationary. This is a really good looking artillery, by the way. They become structures almost and are very good. I love artillery. Can deploy to fire cannon, uses machine guns when undeployed, which makes them actually good against infantry. Very long range, but cannot attack air when deployed. Not really worth it to have them undeployed, seeing as how they're not good versus air, even when they can attack. Our last vehicle is the very, very iconic Scorpion tank. Arguably one of my most favorite vehicles in video games is the Scorpion tank. I said that in the mainstay Halo stuff, but in this one, just the same. They do look a little funky because you always have your coloration and everything, but I think it looks fine. I just, like I said, wish you could pick other colors for your team so that I could actually play as like a green
Scorpion,
or
ready to whoop
red
ass.
or something, or green or yellow or orange or something a little bit different.
Let's
Very
blaze some
powerful
heads.
main battle tanks here. They're good against everything because they have a little machine gun, I believe they can also use. But they're good against everything except air, which most things tend to be not perfect, so to speak, against everything. There are a few that are perfect against everything. But their first upgrade is a canister shell, adds a targeted AoE attack. Strong against infantry, canister shells cannot target air. So you can, it's a power that you can activate when targeting a enemy or an area, and it will of course damage that whole area. Very, very useful against like large groups of small infantry, which is why, strangely enough, these guys are pretty good against like Captain Cutter, because you can take on those
Canister shell
ODSTs pretty quick.
researched.
That looks like it's it for him, though. He only gets that single upgrade. As you can see, the canister
I
shell
got
now
shells
is
loaded
right
with some
over
of these
here.
kids.
Next up are aircraft units. We got the Hornet, your mainstay. It's good against mainly vehicles, but okay versus everything else. But when your main little aircraft is good against everything else, or good against vehicles, it's pretty good by itself. But we'll see it coming out a little bit. I wish people would come on. I usually don't like them coming by, but I want the
Hornet
Kodiak
reporting. Over.
to have its chance to show off.
I hear you, Control.
Hornets, you saw them in Halo Wars 1, though. They were a
Hornet
unit,
moving out.
your main air unit in the first one as well. They do only have, I think, a single upgrade this time instead, which is the Wingman. Adds Marines with rocket launchers, which increases health and damage, mainly against probably other air units as well. God, I think green would have been a much better choice than red. Maybe green versus red or something like that. But we're about to get our Wingman. You do actually get a visual upgrade with this as well, which I always enjoy. Blammo.
Wingman
Got
researched.
little guys now on the side of his little plane. That's really cool. But that is his only upgrade. Our other two units do not have upgrades at all. The Nightingale, which is a support unit, cannot attack whatsoever. Instead, they'll repair and heal friendly units. They have a defensive smoke suppress combat that suppresses combat, and they detect cloaked units. They are pretty nice because of their ability to just heal very fast.
Nightingale ready.
And
Let
of
me
course,
know
you
where
can
I'm
even
needed.
stack them up to be a little quicker,
Let's get this over with.
I've detected enemy units.
but very useful. Ooh, look how much damage that was. So we'll see here.
Over.
Canister. Pop, pop, pop. Let's see if I can get him
We
targeted
killed an
properly.
enemy Spartan.
I don't know if he's shooting right now.
Getting shells
Properly.
here.
I can't tell.
Copy, over.
It looks like he's not even moving.
Our
There we
base is
go.
under
That's a
attack.
canister shell, by the way. That like launcher.
Taking a pounding.
That almost a rocket. Yep, look, he's kind of attacking air right now with it. I think, by the way, that...
Easy
Oh, that
next
didn't
time.
upgrade him
These
there.
things aren't free.
The Nightingales are actually pretty unique, or pretty interesting design. I wouldn't say they're super unique because they look like VTOLs pretty much, but they're pretty nice to have nonetheless. You always have them in stacks of 2 because then they can heal each other. Lastly, our Vulture. That's our kind of heavyweight
Sit back and let the
main
drones do
air
their work.
unit. They're just not very good against infantry. They're okay versus them. Heavy damage. Can launch Phoenix missiles, slow speed, and heavy armor, which is pretty good.
10-4, over.
Because I think I need just a smidge more. Yeah, I will
Got my
have
foot on the pedal,
to
sir.
take a unit out. I don't think that spins me like that. That's interesting.
Let's go.
I don't think you could delete units though in this so to
Welcome to the
speak.
war zone, kid.
Can I?
Vulture here.
I
Orders?
hate to admit it. Can I have them? Let's see here, guys. Sorry. Small break. Can I see? It would be a mouse and keyboard, wouldn't it? Yes. So I'm wondering if there's like a auto attack menus and command. Blitz? I don't know what blitz are. Camera shortcut, selection, and actions. So let's see. Create groups. Groups are very useful. I won't be demonstrating them though. Is it the next one? Radical. Auto zoom, cycle, rotate, zoom in. Is there really nothing displaying to me that like what button prompts do or anything? Not really. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. It doesn't tell me, unfortunately. Okay. That is fine. We'll be getting upgrades though as well, so I'll show that off real quick. The main one is reinforcements. That just gives me some more so I can pump out other units. Logistics allows you to build time by 15%. Units are also produced faster. I think that's just explaining what it is. Where's my rotation?
Local units.
I can grab everyone.
All units.
And grab everyone there. Oh, it's this button.
Reinforcements.
I
level
actually
1
generally
researched.
forgot what buttons were for a minute. Vulture, by the way, here he is. Big unit. Definitely love the propulsion in it and everything like that.
Listen to that engine purr.
Very useful.
Here to
But
deal
these
out
guys
the
are real
punishment.
big. Unfortunately, another unit needs a unit to attack with. But that is all of our air as well. This looks pretty cool actually right now. That is every unit that we currently have. The last thing to demonstrate is the UNSC's super unit, which is the Condor gunship. Can target multiple units and can manually fire a powerful shot, slow moving, very heavy armor. They're extremely hard to take out. They're kind of your mate, like... I have a feeling a lot of games cannot get to the point of even having some of these guys out in combat. So if your game does last long enough that you can manage one out, then you are definitely in a good spot. I do think they probably work better with the big team battles rather than having 1v1s or anything like that. There are some other things for this game mode, by the way. You can build other bases throughout. These are mini bases that can be producing one structure of your choosing. And then there's these small capturable power nodes, which allow you to kind of increase power output for while you hold them and everything like that. These guys do take a while to come out, by the way. I don't believe there's any other upgrades, by the way, other than our standard ones in this. By the way, these upgrades tend to increase health. 50 supply discount to new bases. Ooh, that's nice. But these ones on the garage, air pad, and our barracks just increase damage and health for all your units. That's why I don't tend to get them. But once this guy comes out, I'll be displaying him off. This will be the only time you see him, of course. Otherwise, I think all UNSC have him as a special unit. So there's the hero is the only one that's really unique, alongside the occasional alternate one. I think everyone has at least 2 unique units, if I remember correctly. Really quick as a small little
Condor waiting for orders.
check where I'm just checking something real quick. Yep. Here's your Condor. Look at him. He's massive.
Condor en route.
A beautiful unit. Can use a beam. This beam can only work with a targeted area.
Sir.
He's pretty quick. I know they say slow, but that's not super slow.
Condor moving
Actually,
out.
these guys are perfect. These are Sentinels from the base game.
It'll be a pushover, sir.
And bop.
Being engaged by hostile air units.
I
We're up. Let's go. Let's go.
don't believe
Buckle
he
up,
actually
guys.
got off
Resources
the
here.
proper.
Roger that.
We talk.
Got eyes on hostiles.
Perfect. Actually, I kind of needed you guys.
They never learn, do they?
Oh, he does have a little Phoenix attack. That man is either the luckiest guy on the
Ready all
planet.
weapons. On our way. Condor under attack from a Spartan.
I don't think Spartans can grab these, by the way, if I remember correctly. But by himself, he's extremely tanky.
Need an assist with an enemy
You
Spartan.
could add some Nightingales onto him and everything like that.
All stations are go.
I do think he's struggling because he's not
Hang tight,
facing
Condor
the
on
right
the
way.
Enemy Spartan has targeted us.
So what we can do is
Ready
kind
all
of get him to
weapons.
face the right
Crew to
way.
their posts ASAP.
There we go.
Condor getting harassed by hostile ground troops.
I think he's struggling right now. There we go. Just a little bit. This is one of the moments. It's actually a good
The enemy
teaching
has
thing.
sent-
Our Condor is badly damaged and needs repairs.
This is a good thing that you see that
Enemy forces
you don't get
spotted.
to see
Sending
very
location.
often. Them being the
We got a
fact that
Spartan on our case. Over.
they can actually still be taken out if
Let's pull
enough
some G's,
crazy
guys.
Stopped
force.
an enemy Spartan.
Goodbye.
Condor has been destroyed.
That's fine. It's actually very good to show off how even super units still can properly be taken out. He was struggling for a bit there for some reason though. But that is your super unit. I'll be going over Captain Cutter's leader powers. They do have some similarities between different leaders, but often they'll have their own unique powers. His is one of his passive is a faster capture speed for all units, faster movement speed for all infantry. One of his other passive powers is all units gain veterancy faster. We do have to grab at least one per so we can get the next set. Lotus Mines, I'll be grabbing these since you guys haven't seen them. You actually have seen the restoration drones. Those are that green field you see the AI pop up with. Lotus Mines do drop a set of cloaked mines and will explode, of course, like as mines do. Archer missiles fire wide lane of missiles at the battlefield. ODS Chi drop. This is one of his unique units, by the way, so we'll also be grabbing that. We gotten a few extra points by being here a little longer than usual, so I'll be grabbing these as well. Goodbye, sir.
Warthog is under our...
We have a vehicle down.
Don't worry, that's fine. That's fine.
We've taken
Turret
down
drop,
an
one of
enemy
his
Spartan.
abilities. Like, this is actually a pretty common one. The ability to drop a temporary
Need guns
turret
on
on
that
the
artillery.
field.
I'm taking a pounding.
Cyclops drop. Drops a veteran Cyclops, one of those guys down the battlefield. This just drops you a random, not a random, but a set kind of squad onto the field. Elastic Close Air Support, which calls down Pelican gunships to sweep a large area. I'll be displaying some of these. I'll give you the Lotus Mines. Bop, bop, bop. They just hang out right there while you do stuff. The next power, that's an actual power, is this. I was going to drop these kind of... These are pretty impressive effects, by the way, I think, for RTSs. These are pretty nice. Our ODST, these are the guys you've been seeing around. They drop 3 sets of kind of elite infantry that can drop bombs and everything like that.
Move it, let's go!
They can detect them again. I think they're little mines that can pop pretty much. But they are just pretty standard
Sounds like they need the
infantry.
professionals.
Next power is our turret drop. Drops just your standard unupgraded turret
Enemy
onto the
Spartan on the
battlefield.
field, be
Look at that
advised.
timing. He jumped into the mines. That's a little...
We've killed an
Wow,
enemy
look how
Spartan.
fast that was, by the way.
Restoration
Next up,
drill.
our last one would be this
Chalk up
one,
another kill for the old man.
which allows these huge pelicans. They technically have health, so they can't be blown down. These pelicans are powerful enough to just not... You're not going to be too worried about that, to be honest. Pelicans are incredibly impressive vehicles, and unfortunately not very often ones you can actually build. Also, when they go through that smoke, they get a little cloak. That's what the Nightingale does.
Leader power ready.
But that is everything he has for you as a leader. He's a pretty okay standard UNSC and everything. But I will be seeing you here back again for our next leader. See you in a moment. Alrighty, guys, we're back into it now with Isabel, our next leader for this. I've been looking around and I don't see any unique units in this, actually. I don't know if she actually gets a full unique unit out of this, other than, of course, her hero, which is Alice. Like I said, I think earlier I might have spoken of that these first 3 just have Spartans as their heroes, or 3 different Spartans. But they are very similar to each other. I did also check, these guys don't have anything special with them. These were the very first 3, alongside the very first 3 for the Covenant. So I assume they kind of changed things up as they started updating and giving new leaders and everything like that. So maybe they just didn't input the brand new, like, our 2 unique per thing kind of deal until later on.
Wake up, troops! Hostiles!
Got orders for me,
And
sir?
gone. Here's Alice. She does have a lot of the very same things as what's his name has, as Captain Cutter does, or Jerome does, I should say, for things like that. So her first ability is the same one, Hijack, which just allows, of course, the ability to take enemy or friendly vehicles under her command. Most of your big units, by the way, have these little domes around them, which help out. Here we go. Her secondary, though, gains her a heavy machine gun
Spartan Alice
rather
reporting,
than a Spartan laser, kind of making her a little bit more I feel like infantry based. Otherwise she does have all the
Alice
same
want all
powers,
units reporting for duty.
so
Don't
she
get
jumps
some.
up and everything like
their
that,
way.
does her thing. So she is about to get her machine gun as well.
They drop a spa down.
I don't care who they are, they're going down.
Heavy machine gun
Are they?
researched.
So she has her heavy
130
machine
ready
gun
to
now.
go.
Last upgrade she does have is that neural implant, which is like normal, increases health
Ready
and
for action,
damage.
sir.
Let's see if we can
I'm there.
kind of display what she does based on...
Enemy spotted. Look sharp.
Ooh.
Target down for the count. Spartan 130
We'll
moving.
see it a little more
I'm under fire from enemy
Yeah,
air units.
definitely designed to be a bit more
Enemy attacking
quick
one of our
Say my
sparks.
name.
with how she does things.
On the move.
A little better
On the
at,
double.
like I said, kind of more speedier attacks. Her neural implant, just like normal, gives her the increased health and everything like that. So
Neural
you'll
implant
only see
researched.
that change in there. Otherwise, they're all the same. They also have the same
Leader point
condor
earned.
and everything like that.
Guys are the ones trying to take your head off.
Take your head off. Otherwise, I think all that's left for her is her powers. She has Lotus Mind just like Captain Cutter does. Holographic decoys, which this is an interesting power. Pretty much you could take these guys and then they'll have clones of them, which allow for a distraction because enemies will automatically attack these guys first. As you see, they can't really do any damage though, unfortunately. So, it just as a distraction mainly. Her next power is accelerated assembly, which allows for a vehicle production to be cheaper and faster. Restoration drones, that's the one you saw earlier, with they heal in the circle. She has a Mac Blast ability, which activates a fire a large kinetic slug onto the battlefield, damages all units and buildings. So as you can see here, bammo, pretty solid damage all around, more to the center. There's apparently holograms keep the health, by the way, that the unit that they presented off of does, so that's interesting. Her next power would be the heavy metal, which affects units gained. Affected units gain increased defense at the cost of speed. She has turret drop just like the last one. Scorpions and Nightingales gain shields and increase health, which increases Scorpion caster shot size. Combat Salvager, while active, the first 8 non-infantry units you lose in combat will respawn at your home base. And lastly, Ghost in the Machine, which is a fun call to Ghost in the Shell, I believe, which takes temporary control of targeted enemy vehicles and aircraft. She doesn't have very many, including nothing like no special unit that gets dropped from these. And like I said, I looked through, pretty solid though. Definitely, I think Captain Cutter has a little bit above her, but I do like Alice's machine gun a bit more. So that'll be it. She's pretty
Leader
quick.
power ready.
I'll see you back for the next one. Welcome back, guys. We're on to Professor Anders. She was one of the few that were in the first game. She actually has had quite a, I guess the words to look for is a kind of glow up in this situation. That she's had quite a increased desire to be played, I think. She's pretty cool now compared to her first iteration. Her hero is a just another Spartan, similar, like I said, to the other two. He does get a different secondary weapon like than Jerome and Alice. His name is Douglas, by the way. And you'll be seeing what his is next. She does have quite a few also different units. In fact, I think she technically gains like 3. In a way, she gains 3. So here's Douglas. Same thing as before. His first upgrade is going to be hijack. Same as the other two, the ability to take aircraft and vehicles from enemies or friendlies. So we'll get that going. You'll see in a moment a passive upgrade that I managed to get is something for our siege turrets. Based on a power
Hijack
she
research.
has. Our secondary one for him, by the way, is a rocket launcher. It feels a little lackluster compared to the Spartan laser and the minigun. I mean, the minigun, give him some cool new things, please. But she has sentinel kind of capabilities, as you might have guessed based on the reading alone earlier. So she has a few kind of sentinels, including, if we can see him go off,
Rocket launcher research.
these kind of aggressor sentinels, which are the ones you kind of see around the different tech zones and everything like that. Now, these guys are pretty useful as siege upgrades as well. It's pretty impressive. This has a rocket launcher now. His last upgrade's the same as the neural implant, just adds the increased health
Whatever you
damage. We're gonna go have fun, meet up with this good old Scorpion tank they got sending our way. I
need.
like.
On the move.
He's down there. I wonder, can he do something
Hitching a
crazy?
ride.
No.
Making my way.
Can he do some crazy stuff? I want to see if I can bug it. Can I bug it?
Getting going.
He can
042
attack from
getting
there.
assaulted by
Yeah,
artillery.
yeah, he just jumps from up here. That's awesome.
Do your
I guess I
Neural
didn't show
implant
the
researched.
hijack off very much, so we'll see right here.
Douglas
Blammo.
042 reporting, sir. Not a problem.
Now
Time
he's
to
just
see who's
in the
the
tank.
best.
These are very useful.
An enemy Spartan is down.
It is a very, very useful power when it comes to keeping him alive, because he gets pretty much a shell when he's in this form as well.
On my way.
But that is it for Douglas. Her first unique unit comes from here. It is the Protector Sentinel. This is where a lot of the power-based units will be presented. Core aircraft beam deals sustained damage, fast-moving, medium range, good all-around aircraft. And believe me, these guys are really good. In fact, they're also some of the coolest looking units in the game are these Sentinels. You can also upgrade them to get 2 aggressors, which increases their health and damage and adds a targeted lockdown bolt that stuns and damages enemy units. But these guys are really cool. Definitely very interesting. They definitely make Professor Anders the best of the first 3 at least, and she actually, in my opinion, stays pretty like strong throughout the others as well.
Upgrade researched.
These guys are a little different than the tiny aggressors that you come from. They tried. Bong, bong, bong.
Hostile liquidated.
Let's get these guys to try. Come on. I believe in you. Follow. We're going to quickly show them off. He's pretty fast. So these guys aren't going to be able to really outrun him. Bonk. See if you could catch up. They're a little quick. I give them that. But they are definitely not tanky. I give them that as well. There we go. Just demonstrating them out. But that is the other upgrade is defense grid, which increases their speed, and unit will detonate upon death, allowing them to kind of be a little bomber just in case they happen to go down and everything like that.
Got eyes on an enemy
And
Spartan.
eyes!
Over. I'm gonna teach this enemy Spartan some manners. Should have stayed clear.
Our base is under attack.
They're definitely managing pretty well. The grid upgrade
We
has been
stopped an enemy
done.
Spartan.
Oh, well, he flopped over, like, really realistic. But that is the last upgrade. They are pretty good against vehicles and okay versus everything else. The other, that is the only buildable one that can be presented right now off just building alone. At least so, yep. So the other units come from powers, and I'll be going over each of the powers now. The first one's R&D 1. All infantry vehicles and aircraft and hero upgrades now have reduced cost and research time. Turrets now have shields. It's a really good starting one, to be honest. The restoration drones at Healing Circle, Lotus Mines, same thing as normal. This is the one that allows you to build up Protector Sentinels. Arc Defense, activate and call a 6 aggressor, call in 6 aggressors. Sentinels temporary guard a set area, so you can say like, I want this guy to hang out. You just get 6 of these guys kind of taking up his area and helping him out and everything like that. Turret drop, just like the other ones. Sentinel Beacon, which Kodiak and Siege turrets attack, now summon friendly aggressor sentinels. So Siege turrets are pretty good all around, but could you imagine these guys? Where's Kodiak's at? I think it's a big boy in here. How's Cardi? It's these ones. The vehicles, the Kodiak's right here. Pretty good. Especially just like a little blast here and there is pretty solid. Sentinel Synergy adds more Sentinels to Sentinel Beacon and Arc Defense, which allows for like 2 of them to come out as soon as the siege turrets hit. Sentinel Network is an active, calls in 3 waves of Protector. I can actually see if I can get just enough points here in a second to get that, to show that off. we'll see. Oh, the Hornet came up here. So let's see if we can manage it, because that might be just...
Leader point
there we
earned.
go. I actually haven't seen this power in effect, so let's see how it goes. These guys come out. They start going across an area. I'm assuming as soon as they're hit, they go away, it looks like. So if you put it in an area that they aren't affected, they'll give you a good view of the map. That's pretty cool. Oh, they do attack. Never mind. So he didn't get hurt. He just kind of went away. Oh, it's because these little guys went away. That's pretty useful. And it does look like it goes like across the entire map, wave by wave. Wave by wave. Oh, we get more than one? 3 waves of them. Oh, that's pretty rad. Wow, that's crazy powerful. I do like that a lot. I actually didn't see that last time. Our last power, though, is by far one of the best. It's the Retriever Sentinel. Pretty much brings in like a super unit of its own. Fair warning, this is one of the coolest units in the game, and why I think Professor Anders has quite the advantage here. So bring in this guy. He takes a good second to come on down. Oh my god, he's so cool! Oh my god, he's
Leader
an
power ready.
ultimate unit. Just like the just like our Condor. He's a super one, but this is an ultimate one. This one's crazy looking. I had a really genuine reaction to him when I first recorded this. I was like, man, this guy is one of the coolest designs I've ever seen in a video game. Genuinely. Each of these, I even might do a tier list at some, or not a tier list, but I might do like a list. I want to demonstrate of like the absolute coolest units in RTSs, because this guy is up there. He's super cool. Attacking somebody through something. Let's actually get him out and about a little bit. Quickly show off what he does. I don't know what he's doing right there. Very big old comedy beam right there. That's pretty cool. Look at him do damage though. And they're doing like nothing to him. He is definitely a force. And to be honest, like I said, Professor Anders honestly might be one of the best, if not almost the best UNSC leader in the game, based on the Sentinels alone. But she gets everyone else anyway. Very, very cool. That'll be it for Professor Anders. I'll be right back with the next one. Alrighty guys, welcome back. To give you guys a little bit of a speedier time, I realize you guys didn't have to sit through and watch me do all the buildings necessarily. I didn't do it naturally for anything, but this is the first time seeing a Covenant unit technically, but this is Atriox. I will be going over the base and its vehicles, or the base first, and then I have some units to show off. I hope they don't have a certain unit with them, by the way. This has taken, of course, a bit of time, about 18 minutes in. I'll show off the defenses. There he is. Fortunately, this happened last time where the units would struggle. I'm gonna bring in some, well, let's see. Unfortunate. I had power that helped me here. Let's see if I can pop these guys down again and maybe mess with some people.
Our base is under attack.
Hold on.
Leader power ready.
I'll bring in some stuff here to help out. You'll see these powers a bit more in depth later, but I needed to do some things real quick. They don't do incredible damage. I keep not bringing anything tanky. But I need this power to be up and going again. I don't know how long this guy takes to... Come on. I even built up units and everything to make sure they're ready for this, and I hate that you can't just keep these guys offline until you need them. Come on. Almost there. I need these guys to go away. One more.
The enemy has destroyed one of our buildings.
There we go. I need to take out.
Where are my supplies?
Need to take out the air. There we go. Now they can no longer attack. I'll be going over the defenses first here. That way I can one, build up something proper, and then I can also get rid of something proper. I would like to start with of course, your resource gatherers for this. You got your harvester and your power extractor. They're both also incredibly looking. We'll properly upgrade them as well so you can see the more advanced version. There goes my shield again. But these guys are really cool. I definitely like them more than the UNSC stuff. I will now go over the turret first because I would like to get him fully upgraded. So one thing about the Covenant turret over the say UNSC turret is they have one form. In fact, these guys instead, you can actually purchase all 3 of their air units all at once. Sensor tower, by the way, just gives you normal, like, increased range. I'm gonna get rid of him so I can build a proper tower and everything. Now he's good against anti-air or anti-personnel kind of thing. He'll get upgrades over time, though. This will allow me to have a better use of him. I wanted to show something off first, but I can't. But these are very impressive turrets, comparatively, I think. I do very much prefer these turrets because they can hold all 3 upgrades on them at a time. You just don't get one large siege turret by any means. So we're going to upgrade this guy for the sake of this right now, too. The increased ones, by the way, second drill spot and 2 more of these like energy collectors. These are by far some of the cooler designs for resource buildings I've ever seen. I like them more than usual. The other buildings you have currently are your raid camp. It is looking a little beat up right now, as all the other buildings are. They're all pretty interesting. This is your war council. This is like your like kind of where you get your hero from. This is also your foundry. This is where you'd get your vehicle and apex, where you get. So unfortunately, these guys got to take these guys out first. They should be able to handle it, especially because if they take this out before long, they'll be able to not have to worry about the shield going down or nothing. And there we go. Now they can't attack anymore. Poor guys. The other defenses, by the way, I didn't go over. But Apex is air. And then your shield generator, this is very useful. Takes damage over time for your building rather than having to each individual building get hit. It will go down eventually and have to take time to recover again. But the most important building they have is a cloaking generator. Is exactly why they aren't firing upon me right now, is because they actually can't see anything inside this kind of radius. So this is by far usually the most important one. I'll be going over units in a moment. I actually, if you see on the map, I do have them all situated on the side over here. And then you'll be able to see the upgrades each of them possess. But I'll be going over the units from here, I believe. So first off, your core units, you have your grunt squad. They're kind of okay against infantry and some air. They're cheap and expendable, and they're very quick. And then your chopper. This is that big beefy unit, or big beefy kind of like charging unit that you see throughout the games. It can ram, fast moving, and everything like that. Oh, your darn air units again. This should be fine though. None of these are very powerful. These guys are getting close enough to get hit by turrets, so This should be relatively fine, but we'll see. I don't think they're supposed to be able to attack while they're in there, though.
Our base is under attack.
Oh. You darn robots. Even on easy, though, they still kind of get that point of a little too powerful, as you see it there. Oh,
The enemy has destroyed one of our buildings.
ooh, give me that back. Give me that back. Okay. Well, I didn't want to have to use it, but I will. This is a power you'll be seeing in a quick moment.
Base is under attack.
I gotta get rid of some of these guys, to be honest. You're doing an annoying number on my base. You know what? For funsies, you'll get to see this a little early as well.
Apex constructed.
Back that cloaking generator. There we go. They're just there to kind of keep them off me for a little bit while the turrets do their job.
Our base is under attack.
I'll be bringing out some units pretty soon in a moment to help with these guys. They are annoying me a tad bit. The main ones I'll be bringing out to start with here are engineers. They're very useful units, mainly because they are your basic healing and support unit. They cannot attack or anything like that, but they can heal up things and everything like that. We do need them pretty well. These guys are being a
Upgrade complete.
little aggravated to me. There we go. We'll just have these guys here. Real quick, I'll be presenting the units, by the way. So I have them all here. I thought I might as well just show them off here, all kind of nicely laid out, rather than having to display them over time. I'm learning my lesson a little bit there. Front squads or infantry of the groups, your jump packs and everything like that. I'll be reading them actually from here so that I can give you the proper descriptions and such. Look at them go, these little guys. I do enjoy them so dearly. You actually do see them in the main games, by the way, as well. They pop up like once, I think. But they are quite useful in this game, particularly. Your 4 infantry you have here, jump pack groups, jumping anti-building units that are kind of okay against everything like infantry, but not very good against vehicles, which is surprising. You think those graph hammers would do some damage. Suicide grunts, deadly in numbers, very fast. I also feel like they would be a little better against vehicles, but I guess not. Your elite rangers, so they aren't jackals in these games, by the way. I don't know why there aren't jackals, but elites take over the job as snipers for them. And hunters, those big guys in armor, and they're very scary. I'll be going over the upgrades as well over time, just display what they do and everything like that. Let's actually get these guys more back here so that they can properly heal the backside of things. Your foundry, you got the Marauders. They are kind of those big 3-seaters you see in the games. They're slow, tough armor, good all around. You have your Reavers, which are anti-air, medium range jump. They can also detect cloak units and mid-range missiles, but they are light armor. This is your anti-building mech. They're kind of your artillery. The beam deals sustained damage, deals damage along a trajectory as well, so anything in the beam gets hit as well, and has a light armor in a very long range. And of course your very nostalgic Wraith, heavy damage, long range, heavy armor, just your huge battle tank. Scorpion's a little better, unfortunately. That's just how they've always kind of been. Lastly, your air units, like I said, we have the engineer, a little guy here. He heals things. Infantry friendly units can activate a protective shield, detects cloaked units and non-combatants. Your banshees, these are those nostalgic ones as well. The first ones you kind of see kind of going around. They're fast moving, medium range, and good all around. Air superiority, as you know, with small aircraft and things. Shrouds shoots down incoming projectiles. These are can activate cloaking radius, and detection units can reveal cloak. They are non-combative, so pretty much they're just like a defensive kind of anti-missile kind of thing. And the blisterback, mobile artillery, like air mobile artillery for that. Can deploy to use siege missiles, use plasma cannons in the air. Very long range, heavy armor, cannot attack air when deployed. I finally brought a tank, by the way. This is the first time we've seen a tank here. He's not doing too hot. He didn't know what to do. He's like, there's nothing here. I can't see a thing. I can hit. You think I'd just start shooting randomly, to be honest. And there you go. As you see, engineers and numbers here. I'll be kind of bringing them back as time goes on. So let's get these guys back to base. Our infantry first off.
We go.
I just need things to defend the base at this point, and might as well bring them out of hiding and everything. The suicide grunts, by the way, don't get any upgrades, I believe, because they're not really meant to be a long-lasting unit. Oh, they do. They just get more people in their upgrades. Weehoo! So let's get these guys back in the base, by the way. This is a little cheesy, but you can absolutely keep your units inside the circle. They can attack, but cannot be seen unless detection units are nearby. The upgrades we get for our basic grunt infantry are Pack Brother, which increases their squad size, adds another brute to their list. Which is pretty nice with your basic guys here. Grunt blood. Let's see here. 1 second. There you go. That second grunt was added. This is for that chopper, though, so let's bring him back over here as well.
Got orders for me. Moving to position.
And we'll, of course, display what all of them do. It always looks like he's hurt when he's going, but that's not it.
Chopper moving.
So, there we go. Chopper, his upgrades. He gets shrapnel rounds, adds explosive rounds, and he can detect cloaked units after that. That's pretty solid all around. They're a little better than the Jackrabbits. I'll give them that. The Choppers are just a little better, especially because they have the ram of the, what are they called? The Warthogs and everything like that.
Such a wonderful place.
Such a wonderful place.
And destroy.
Get them all up and everything. I wanted to try this form of displaying so that you guys didn't have to, like, view as much stuff or wait for me to put stuff down as much, but I might just say it's whatever at this point. The other way actually feels a little faster on my end and doesn't have like, oh, that's a, what's it called? Oops, some people are about to die here.
I'm salivating already.
There's a Spartan,
Enemy Spartan has been killed.
and that's fine as long as, what is that? ODSTs. As long as these units don't die. Aha, you can't see me no more. Strangely enough, I'm like in front of you, which I guess they have that weird cloak going on. There we go. Come back here. So, those are the 2 upgrades for these guys. The next ones we have up and coming are, by the way, I'm going to grab this real quick. The upgrades for the brutes, the jump pack brutes. This allows them to have increased squad size, adding a 3rd brute to the list, and everything like that. What else did they get? But they are melee units, strong rush units, short range jump, and cannot attack air. That's not the way to think. Just use those jump packs and just jump.
Dark skies.
There we go. 3rd one there. They don't have any more upgrades. Suicide grunts now have upgrades. But they just gain like more in them. Unfortunately, I think they're not here anymore because they probably blew up. But all it does is just increase their squad size. Unfortunately, elite rangers do not have any upgrades. They are the sniper boys of them. Right here. We'll get new recruits going up and everything like that. 3, 2, 1. There we go. Next up would be the upgrades for the hunters. So let's see here. The Hunter upgrade that they do gives beam cannon, replaces the fuel rod, so that big jump with a beam cannon instead. That's the normal attack you see throughout the game, the main games, which increases their damage, but damage is also dealt on long trajectory as well. Let's get that up and going. Beam cannon. Ooh, leader point as well. That is all the infantry upgrades that we have here. I'm going to have them kind of hanging out over here on the side here. That way they're kind of out of the way. I will keep these guys kind of up front so they can help a little more.
Chopper revved and ready.
There we go. We'll now bring over...
Our base is under attack.
a vulture, which I think can attack... Can attack air. Or can see.
Right away.
And pop, 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 dead. Pretty good. We'll bring over our vehicles next. These are the 4 that come out of the armory, the foundry. The Marauders and the Scorch Martyrs, or the Marauders and the Racer are the only ones that have upgrades. Pretty much, Marauders get a thicker kind of hull, which greatly increases their armor. We'll bring them up here now. There's little Marauders. They actually have very unique designs as well. I like them a lot. We did see the Locust in Halo Wars 1, I believe.
I'm here. Where do you want me?
And Grunts are piloting that thing. There we go. Get them all the way up. I think it's a Brood or Elite rather than the Wraith, to be honest. There we go. The race upgrade is Scorch Martyr, which adds as a target attack that deals damage over time. Strong against ground targets, Scorch Martyr cannot attack the air, but they can attack air based off just being the Wraith alone.
Affirmative.
Manipulated by an unknown omniscient being.
He knows things. Don't worry about him. But that should be, I think, his only upgrade is the Scorch Martyr, if I remember correctly.
Scorch Martyr researched.
Next up, we're bringing in our air units. These are the 4.
Staging for fight. Approaching.
There we go. We'll bring them on in. As you've seen already, the Engineer. But the only one that has an actual upgrade, by the way, is the Banshee, which you can give them those plasma torpedoes. There's those big like gas hits that go off. I do also want to show off his unique ability of just flopping down right over here, and then he gets a cool little effect. He gets his legs out and everything and becomes an artillery unit.
Hide beneath my shadow.
You can also shroud.
Make them vanish.
Right here, you can add like another little hidden area for your units and everything. And your plasma torpedoes just give a bigger blast. I believe that's an elite in there, by the way. But these are all the standard units for all the Covenant factions that we have. There is one more unit that we have not seen yet that I'll be displaying. He's a personal favorite. The New Age Scarabs for the game. Weirdly enough, I don't know about Halo Wars 2. I think Halo Wars 1 has them. These are like the above mark Scarabs. You see kind of the Mark 1s in the main games and in Halo Wars 1, which these guys look really cool. I do think there's still a lot of beauty in the original Scarab, but this guy has definitely a uniqueness to himself as well. So we're going to bring him out. He's the ultimate unit. I did check for Atriox. He does not have any unique special units that come from like his powers or anything like that. But I will be bringing him over pretty soon as well. He's over there by himself, the poor guy. I gotta wait for Scarab to come out anyway, because I gotta give upgrades and such. This is definitely a force. I don't know if I'd really want to try to take on this camp at any point. 40 seconds. Let's bring him over now. This is Atriox's Chosen. I believe this is out of the first 3 normal Covenant races or leaders. This is the only one that can attack air at all, which is pretty cool. Ooh, sorry. Sorry. Let's get him in here though. He does wield a what's it called? Drop shot? Brute shot weapon. That's that grenade launcher that they fire off that can honestly just donk people and not even have to explode, which is impressive. But here he is. He's about to take up a lot of space.
Ready to engage.
Oh, I love him dearly.
Devastation and destruction comes.
They definitely designed him to be a little more, shall we say, spider-like in a way. He's struggling a little bit to find his ground right now. Okay, he's just in like a rotation. He's very impressive though, and I love him. I do remember they do that in game, by the way, that they just drip the like heat cannon off of themselves, which is pretty cool. Of course, he doesn't have any upgrades though, so we'll be showing off what the Atriox's Chosen has. His first upgrade allows him to have plasma rounds, which adds an AoE damage to his weapon, and of course his increased health and damage. I haven't seen any units come by the way, which is kind of weird.
Plasma rounds researched.
There we go. His second upgrade, which allows him to have Scorch rounds, which adds damage over time to that AoE. He is arguably, I think, out of the first 3, the best of the heroes, but there's definitely far better Covenant heroes later on that I'll be displaying, of course. Maybe I should have lined them up more like this, I think, like kind of just around the base. That would have been a little more helpful, I think. There's Scorch rounds. His final upgrade, though, gives him a rifle barrel, which increases damage and greatly increases his weapon's range. But that'll be it, I believe, for all the normal upgrades that you guys would be seeing from a standard Covenant. Gotta love the turrets. Still, they are very cool.
You summoned me.
You summoned me. I do.
Rifle barrel researched.
There we go. That is a fully upgraded hero as well. That is pretty much everything except for powers that I'll be going over right now. His first one is Countermeasure, drops mines around newly captured points. So there's going to be decap rate. Jump pack roots drop trip mines when in flight. Fortifications, a stronghold. Fortify and turret upgrades now have reduced cost and research time. Base level turrets, shield towers, and outposts now cost less. The plasma mines activated, drop a line of cloaked mines. Once armed, mines explode on contact, just like the other one. Dying breath. Affected units ignore their own death and continue to fight for a short time, so you keep them going for a bit. Atriox's Bulwark. This one instead is just like the healing area one that you've seen before.
Leader point.
The Spirit Assault, that's the one you guys have seen, where it drops off the 2 grunts and everything like that. Glassing Beam, you've also seen fires a controllable plasma beam and damages all type of units. Teleport own units within a set range. I don't believe it's like in crazy far, nothing like that. Unbreakable renders all deployed units invulnerable for a set of time. And lastly, Eradication unleashes 8 beams converging plasma, or 8 converging plasma beams. Once converged, a massive blast is triggered. Damages all types. We'll see that kind of down here. Very impressive. And then has that middle final come down blast. Super cool. That's an awesome sound, by the way. I think it might have been him that made it. But that is it for Atriox as the first one to show off. These will be, of course, a bit quicker. This was much faster than before, though, so I'm kind of glad. So I'll see you in a moment.
Their troops are brave but
back
foolish.
again. This is Decimus, I believe, as this next leader. We'll bring out
Our base is under attack.
his hero because I don't believe they
Looks like
have.
I'll have to clean
They
my
have a single
blades
other
again.
unique unit, but he uses later on power kind of thing. Well, they managed to keep him off. In fact, one of them actually is still alive.
Constructed.
I built up some of these other bases just to get perk, like the leader points, because it takes a while. Because you have to do like fights or upgrades to get leader point kind of progress. So I just did it that way, kind of over time. Here's the Warlord. He's a hero infantry. The Warlord is a melee, powerful AoE, but cannot attack air. Anytime they can't attack air, I think they're a little worse than anything that can attack air. But they're pretty solid at what they do otherwise. Hammer Pole has a gravity beam that drags targets closer. It's pretty solid. Also adjusted them to being red, just to show the differences. I do think that the Covenant side does better as red, while the UNSC side does better as blue, I think. But I just kept UNSC as red. You'll see them as blue next, coming up.
Hammer pole
The gravity
researched.
hammer upgraded there, so now we can do hammer stun. Do they?
Hold your tongues and listen.
No, I don't think they do. I was thinking about something different, but here the hammer stun adds a stun effect to the weapon and adds AoE damage to the weapon, making it an even bigger thing. I thought he already did AoE. Yeah, he's a powerful AoE attack.
I pledge
Oh,
my
that's
loyalty.
that R that he can do, rather than that it gives him like a natural upgrade and everything like that.
Hammer stun researched.
And then his last upgrade is the Siphon, which Warlord gains health with each attack. That's something I do like about the Covenant side of things. They did make sure every of the heroes gained a unique benefit, compared to the Spartans kind of getting the same rough line with a different middle point. But Siphon should be close to be done, and then I'll be going over the powers that Decimus has. There we go. Siphon fully complete, giving him a bigger health bar,
Researched.
and that ability to take health while attacking. His powers now, by the way, Decimus' powers, Killing Frenzy, a passive, all units gain damage boost when they kill enemies. Vortex Lightning, this is a kind of activates a created defensive weakening vortex, focusing down a target, stuns and damages them. Siphon, this affected units gain health when attacking, so that's an active power that you place on them for a period of time. Fury, target own units to give damage and speed boost, but drains their health while active. Units cannot die from this though, so if they don't get hit, they won't immediately die, or they won't die from just that slow chip of it. Glassing Beam, we saw that as the last guy that fires down the controllable beam into battle, as we did for Spirit Assault as well. Teleport, the same as before, teleports on units within a set range, but Boundless Siphon is one of his unique powers, which activate all units now have a permanent minor health siphon. So it's a little worse, but it is permanent and cannot go away. Decimus drop, I'll show you in a moment. This drops Decimus into battle in a mech.
Decimus is here.
So he's both your leader and now you're one of your other kind of hero units. He's definitely a little better than the hero. He is considered I think, ultimate unit. He's very powerful, has a beam out attack like this. That's incredibly damaging. His left arm has like a grab beam that can suck units in, and then he has his big rotary mace that he attacks with. Also a wonderful design, by the way. Very high-end design, I think, in my opinion. Mechs just do so well. His last power, by the way, is Boundless Fury. All units have a permanent increase to speed and damage. Pretty not bad. But that will be it for Decimus. I'll see you right in a moment for the next one. Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We're on to the Shipmaster, or the next leader. He does have a few unique things, including the Grunt Squads now have an elite with them rather than a brute. This gives them actually a new upgrade, which gives the active camo, which adds the ability to temporarily cloak. Detection units, of course, can reveal this cloak if they do get in range of them, though. But I do believe they actually have another upgrade after that, which is the... I believe it's like the same thing as the other one. Yeah, which increases their squad size. Just gives you another elite inside there. They don't have any other unique units from these sides of things or anything like that. So all of them are pretty much the same. The other one you likely already seen is that they have ghosts now instead of choppers. Oh, it's close, so close. Ghosts can ram enemies just the same, fast moving light armor, but instead they have vehicle shielding instead of the shrapnel shot one. No, the elite's actually complimenting the grunts right there. That's actually pretty nice. That's as close as complimenting as they can get.
Ghost here.
There we go. Ghosts, I love ghosts. They're another design that are so well done. I would love to have one in real life. Like, of course, not a functioning one since that's impossible, but just imagine having like a full-size one just hanging out in like a garage or something like that. I think it'd be so cool. Now, granted, they are meant to float, and I don't know how they are doing that. I'm assuming some small propulsion underneath that we can't make yet.
Ghost
Unfortunately.
shield researched.
A little shield there. Next up, we have our hero for them, which is the Honor Guard, another hero that cannot attack air. They're a melee hero, high damage, can cloak, and detection units can reveal his cloak, but like I said, cannot attack air. Unfortunately, any hero that can attack air is kind of a little bit worse.
I have sights on enemy units.
Not in design by any means. Not by any means, but by functionality. Because if an air unit comes up, say you want to send out your hero to do things on his own, he can't really, if he gets air with him, he can't hit them by any means. But very cool nonetheless. I spoke about it last time, but any elite carrying a sword is unequivocally the scariest thing on the planet. They are terrifying. This reverse upgrade only increases movement speed, of course health and damage, but the main thing would be his movement speed. He does have that small ability to cloak whenever he desires, kind of thing. I'm trying to remember what his other two are. We'll see in a moment, of course. But really quick, this one just increases health and damage. So unfortunately, he's considered kind of the worst of the three. I do believe the Brute Chieftain would be the best of the first three because of his ability to not only attack air, but his kind of longer range shots and everything, making him not needed to go up necessarily against a unit. So we'll see more health. His last upgrade is Unseen Blade, adds a permanent cloak. That's really good though. So in fact, if you don't have, say, if you're fighting humans, if you don't have Nightingales, fighting other Covenant, if you don't have like engineers or anything like that, or any upgraded ones, he can really go around and just do what he needs to do. I even don't believe there's many things that naturally can detect, I believe, as well. Let me see.
Unseen Blade. Research.
Now he's just detected all the time. Can you guys see it? These guys can't. We're gonna go over his powers now.
The enemy is here.
No, they're not. They're roaming around like weirdos. The first power, Banished Raid. Capture speed for all units is able to capture now faster. Infantry have a sight of range upgrade. We do have a boy coming in here, by the way.
Can match my speed.
We'll show you the difference.
Moving out. Our base is under attack.
You'll see how powerful he is.
Ghost under attack from one of their monstrosities.
Ooh, man, that's a
We've killed an enemy Spartan.
Really good animation, by the way. I don't think I've seen that one earlier. That was really good.
What do you wish of me?
Next up is a teleport, just like normal. Can teleport short distances. Scout mines, which are actually a little interesting. They're a little different. These guys are cloaked and just let you have a little visual on the battlefield a little bit better. They have the healing beam. Teleport select units to healing area at the main base. Glassing beam, just like before. Advanced cloaking, which cloaking generator and shrouds are now cheaper. Marauders now have cloaking. Spirit support, I bought this one, or I wanted to get to this point because it has a spirit to help provide cover fire, which almost makes it another unit in a way on the battlefield for a period of time. Displacement teleports enemy units anywhere within range. All own mass cloaking. All own deployment units gain a temporary siphon, speed boost, and cloak. And lastly, tactical gateway. Place 2 connected teleportation nodes can be used by all players. It can be very good. It can also be very negative depending on how you interact with it and such. So we're gonna place these guys down just because I want to show off the spirit of fire. Spirit come down. Very cool. Very useful. You cannot control him. Instead, he'll just hang out around the area and provide any kind of fire needed. In fact, we'll see right here. They can be destroyed as well, but they are a bit tanky off the bat. But that will be it for the Shipmaster. Hopefully, I'll see you coming back soon for the next one. Welcome back, guys. We're on to Sergeant Forge as the next leader. He has a couple of differences to him comparative to the other UNSCs. Mainly, one of his main things is that the Scorpion has been replaced with the Grizzly. Sorry, I saw the Kodiak right here. The Grizzly is instead a heavy damage, slow-moving, medium-range, heavy armor tank. They are a bit beefier than the standard Scorpion tank, have a bigger gun on top, and a separate upgrade as well. This place is freaky, man. We'll bring him out. I believe right now, based off what I've seen, he's the only proper... That's fine, none of them are really used getting anyway. He's the only proper, like, separate unit other than a hero.
Grizzly here. Where am I needed?
Big tank. I love big tank. They're always so cool. Man, he's huge. That's a massive tank. His upgrade, though, gives him the missile barrage as a missile barrage ability. Powerful targeted AoE attack. I keep forgetting that you have to click off, and if you click any of these letters, they might correspond to something, which is why I just paid for this. I hit F because you hit F to go into the menu. We'll get him his missile barrage upgrade. I don't believe there's anything else different in this or anything like that. I don't believe any upgrades for these either that are different as well. Also, I switched into blue, which they do look much nicer in blue rather than red. Here's... I don't believe you guys would hear that, though. There we go. Missile barrage. I do think you can... Yeah, we do need another unit to attack with it. I'll also show off him. His Forge is the hero here for this one. He is a vehicle hero. Protection, nanobots increase armor and nearby allies. One moment, by the way. Check on my poor cat. Sorry about that, guys. Cat just wanted out mainly. I just didn't want her. Yeah, I don't think the mic could pick up her meowing or nothing, but I just didn't want her waiting out there or nothing. We're bringing out Sergeant Forge's Warthog. He isn't particularly good at anything, apparently. I think his main thing is that he's a bit more of a defensive hero, like a little more of a support kind of one, rather than being inherently offensive.
Forge reporting in.
Just remember, the bad guys are
He's pretty cool. You see that little defensive barrier he's got. His first upgrade is the anvil rounds, which increases ability or adds the ability to fire an anvil round. Anvil rounds damage enemy ground units and slow vehicles. So if he can get this in time, I can show it off.
Grizzly is under artillery assault.
Our base is under attack.
I don't know if he just did it or not, but that was interesting. His next upgrade is the bigger defensive aura. Improves his nanobots and the speed of nearby allies, making them a little bit faster.
Marines! Move out with me! Move out, Marines!
There we go. His aura...
Don't ask how I got here. It's complicated.
No, it's not. I assume the idea is like he's both he's another one of those where he's also a commander and a unit.
Upgrade complete.
His last one is Gauss Overcharge, upgrades the Gauss Cannon and Anvil Round ability, which is his final upgrade after that. Let me see here. Pop. Pop. And then we'll be going over there.
Gauss Overcharge, upgrade complete.
There we go. He's now fully upgraded. That defensive aura is pretty large. We're going over his power now. Rolling economy reduces the cost of research time for supply pad and generator upgrades. His heavy metal target gain the defensive boost, but slows targeted units. Lotus Mine, just like the other ones, can drop mines. Pelican Transport allows for you to pick up a certain amount of units, I believe, and then put them anywhere on the map. I believe they can be shot down though. Scatter Bomb fires a series of stagger bombs onto the field. The drones at healing area, a deployment of 2 veteran Kodiaks. Vehicle production is cheaper and faster. Combat Salvage, this is that 8 non-infantry units will respawn if they die technically. And Grizzly Battalion drops off 3 veteran Grizzlies. I do want to show off this one mainly because it's a proper actual power. As you saw earlier, he tried to drop it, the AI tried to drop it, I think, or a version of it, and it just didn't do anything. But that is it for Sergeant Forge. I'll be right back with the next one.